Everyone, make sure you've got your physical media because we don't know what the hell is going to happen when Amazon gets the rights to these movies. So welcome back to my channel, and today we have something that came out a couple of days ago. I read it, but I didn't really think too much about it because the MGM sale to Amazon also includes now the Hobbit movies. I didn't really think about it too much, and I was like, okay, whatever, Amazon's just buying up the Hobbit, but there's nothing really much they're going to do with it, are they? I watched the video from Jay, Drunk 3PO. I thought, well, actually, it's got me thinking because Jay was talking about Star Wars and what Disney has done to Star Wars and how they've taken not just Star Wars, but also other movies that they've got in their catalog on Disney Plus, and they've edited them retroactively to make it fit with the times. Or they've taken out things, omitted things that could be considered problematic for the day. Where I've done videos on that before, you can see that they put warnings or labels on their movies which says this could be considered culturally insensitive. Amazon, who has got the rights to the books and are making a TV show, and they are changing everything about the lore of Tolkien's world to make their own TV show, which I've done numerous videos on, you can go check out, now have the rights to the Hobbit Trilogy, because the Hobbit was done by MGM. Now, you got Unexpected Journey, Desolation of Smaug, and the Battle of Five Armies. So all these three will now be owned by Amazon. Well, maybe not so fast because the Federal Trade Commission might be able to overturn this purchase of MGM. But we're going to take a look at that and take a look at our good friends over at the OneRing.net and what they've said about this. Because what could happen is Amazon, like Disney Plus, could have Amazon Prime and they could put The Hobbit, and if they eventually get the rights to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, they could do what Disney Plus have done and retroactively change things on their streaming service. So get the physical media because they're not going to be able to change anything from that. Because if you have these right here, you can watch them whenever you want and it's not going to be changed at all based on any executive or whoever coming forward in the future. Who knows, 20, 30 years down in the future, something might come up that's problematic in The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, and then they want to take it out or put a stamp on it, a label on it saying, this is an issue, this is problematic. But let's take a look at some of these articles and what other people have been having to say about it. So this is on Forbes, and it says, many had expected the Federal Trade Commission to block the acquisition of MGM by Amazon, but in a surprise move, they chose not to do so. FTC chief Lina Khan has made it known that she's unhappy with how large some of these tech companies like Amazon have become, and in fact issued a letter to Amazon that the FTC will continue to investigate the purchase of MGM. There's a bunch in this, but this is, I think, the key part of this that could be overturned. Now it says she did not have enough votes on the commission to back a lawsuit, but she could if President Joe Biden is able to get his nominee through the Senate. That means this deal could actually be unwound in the future, although that would be tricky logistically. They could likely force Amazon to sell all or part of MGM. So, in a crazy turn of events, some people would be now rooting for Joe Biden to get his nominee through the Senate because it could potentially overturn the sale of MGM to Amazon, which would mean that the rights for the Hobbit movies do not go to Amazon and they can't just put it on Amazon Prime and do whatever they want with it. Now, let's take a look at Inside the Magic, and they quote one of our favorite websites, the OneRing.net. Their headline is quite interesting. Amazon reportedly monopolizing Lord of the Rings. Tolkien fans devastated. Middle-earth is expanding with Amazon's Lord of the Rings Rings of Power this September, but fans are up in arms over how much of J.R.R. Tolkien's work Amazon owns. We've done videos on that before here. They own the rights to Lord of the Rings and the appendices and the Hobbit books. That's it. Nothing about the Silmarillion or First and Second Ages, which they are doing their show on. So it says it got mixed reviews on the trailer. Well, yeah, a lot of people were not happy about it, and then they had that super fans video that got a lot of backlash as well. And then it says there are people that are claiming it will undermine Tolkien's legacy. Exactly, that's what it looks like. And we've seen why before with these new characters, POC characters that never existed in the lore. This is very interesting from OneRing.net. So they say, with the Lord of the Rings rights now up for sale and this MGM deal done, is there any monopolistic case law that prevents Amazon from further acquiring more rights to Middle-earth? That's very interesting that they're worried about monopolization of Tolkien's work when they were working with Amazon to unveil this new trailer, and they did a whole presentation stream when the trailer was released. And it's funny because they've also been saying things like this about this new black female dwarf who never existed. They want to say Keely and Feely, who were in The Hobbit, their mother is the only dwarf woman ever named, and her name is Dis. And now it says Amazon has named the first feature dwarf woman Disa. And now they're saying in what may be the first linguistic bridge between Tolkien's writings and the expansion of the Legendarium. Lord of the Rings is not Star Wars. Tolkien's work is not Star Wars. This is not about an expanded universe or an extended universe where you can get writers to create extra stories that you can make books off that tie into the previous lore that's been written and they have a canon system. That's Star Wars. Tolkien's work is not Star Wars. There is no canon lore system. There just is what he wrote. And now that OneRing.net is saying that there is now an expansion of the Legendarium, as if anyone can come along and write extra work that Tolkien never put in and claim that it's Tolkien's work now. All we are asking for is put down on screen what was written in the book, as close as you can, as faithful as you can to what was written. Just like, yes, many of people have said Lord of the Rings did things too that went up against the book. And when you listen to their explanations, the writer and the director, Philippa Boyens, Peter Jackson, they say it worked better with Faramir because you can't have the ring being this so powerful thing and then Faramir just gives it up. No, he has to have a better journey through his character on screen, which is what they did. And they also want to talk about Tom Bombadil. Well, actually, if you listen to Philippa in the appendices, she doesn't actually say that Tom Bombadil never interacted with the characters that we have in the film adaptation, just says they never put it on screen. Because what Tom Bombadil would have done is, you have the most powerful evil thing in existence, the One Ring, and you have Tom Bombadil playing around with it like it's nothing to him. So that would have taken away from what they were doing in the movie. There's another video as well of Peter Jackson in the appendices saying they're not trying to bring their politics into it. They're trying to keep it to the story. When you listen to the reasons why the filmmakers of the original trilogy, and even the Hobbit Trilogy they did, but there was a lot of differences in that. But if you listen to what they did with the Lord of the Rings, they tried to keep it as close as they could to what Tolkien wrote. And they even changed the timing of the books in the movies, because at the end of Two Towers, well, technically Frodo and Sam are at Cirith Ungol, but they couldn't put that at the end of the Two Towers because the timing of the books doesn't actually line up, because what is happening is Battle of Pelennor at Gondor is actually happening when they're there. So they actually moved the end of book 2 to movie 3, so it lined up better. But what Amazon is doing right here is taking a character that never existed, never looked like anything that was described in Tolkien's work. You know what they're doing it for? They're doing it to make people come in and say, I have representation now. I can feel represented in this story. Just because you see your own skin color means you are represented and you can identify with the character. It's so shallow, I can't understand. But let's take a look more at what the OneRing.net has said. This is in response to this tweet. Now someone said, do you reckon if the first season of Rings of Power gets poor reviews, Amazon will scrap it and restart? They said, no, but I hope Amazon adds a dislike button on the app so all those hate tubers have something to do. So you're talking about all YouTubers who have called you out for being wrong when you said the Legendarium has 19 rings. You don't even know there's 20 rings. That's interesting work there from OneRing.net. They don't even know Tolkien's work. And when people have called you out many times and called out Amazon for not being true to the story and creating their own work that has nothing to do with Tolkien's works. That's all we're doing. And now they're calling people hate tubers. If wanting to protect something that people care about is hate, these people are clearly on the wrong side. And let's not forget what we've done a video on before, talking about The Hobbit. Well, they said, thankful for the incredibly talented actors who are bringing Middle-earth's Second Age to life. They talked about Black History Month because they got new black characters, which never existed. An elf with a faded haircut, no long hair, and a dwarf. And then they also took Martin Freeman's body and changed his face to make it even bigger, and then blackened up the neck. This is the OneRing.net, the people who were shilling for Amazon, who were telling everyone to basically shut up, you're a hate YouTuber, you're a hate tuber. You just make videos based on hate, you don't care about the law, but whatever. You don't even know the law. And they're the same ones who are now saying, can we get monopolistic case law to prevent Amazon from further acquiring more rights? Why would you have an issue with that if you are so happy with what Amazon is doing with the show and with these new characters that never existed? Why would you care about monopolization of Tolkien's work if you are so happy with what they are doing? And then we also have that last bit, which is, this is going to get more interesting as the Soul Science Company's entire Middle-earth IP rights are also up for sale. That includes Lord of the Rings. So who knows what is going to happen in this next few months or maybe year, depending on what's going on with the confirmation, could potentially force Amazon to sell all or part of MGM in the future. But for now, people are still not happy with what Amazon is going to bring in September because it's changing everything that we know of Tolkien. And the OneRing.net is trying to say, do we have any monopolistic case law? When they're the ones that have been shilling for it and so happy that these race swaps are occurring. So the moral of the story with this one is keep your physical media, because we don't know what Amazon is going to do when they get their hands on, or if they eventually get their hands on, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and put it on Amazon Prime. If they want to change whatever they want, if they want to say, slap on a label, say this is now problematic. Keep your physical media, because we're never going to get anything like the Lord of the Rings trilogy again. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share this video out there, and I'll see you in the next one.